Welcome to National Action Network Saturday Action Rally. We're coming to you live on WLIB 1190 AM in New York. We're streaming to you across the country on a number of platforms, including Facebook and nationalactionnetwork.net. We are live right here in the House of Justice, 106 West 145th Street. Call somebody. Tell them the action is on the air. The Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton is in the house and getting ready to come to you. We're so pleased that you are with us on this Saturday morning, because if it's Saturday, this is where the action is. Our president and founder is the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton. The chairman of our board is the Reverend Dr. W. Franklin Richardson, senior pastor at Grace Baptist Church in Mount Vernon, New York. I'm attorney Michael Hardy. Will be with you throughout the broadcast this morning. We are so pleased to have with us this morning for our Inspirational Word segment, the Reverend Dr. Kimberly Kane Holmes. She's the Director of Training at St. Luke's Baptist Church here in the great city and state of New York. Of course, if it's Saturday, our musical director, Minister Tyrone Richardson, is in the house. And if it's Saturday, our dear sister, coordinator at National Action Network and special liaison to President Sharpton, will be here to ask you what's on your mind. And of course, if you've not had a chance to speak with Katrina to let her know what's on your mind, you can still do so. You can email her at what'sonyourmind@nationalactionnetwork.net, or you can call 877-626-4651 and let her know what's on your mind, and she will share that on the air. So it's Saturday. It's the National Action Network. It's the Saturday Action Rally. Call somebody. Tell them the action is on the air. The Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton in the house and getting ready to come to you. Brothers and sisters, we always like to remind you that the Nan Youth Huddle will meet on Monday, August 22nd, live at the House of Justice Auditorium beginning at 6 p.m. Spread the word and get into the action with our youngest and brightest dreamers of today and leaders of tomorrow. For more information on the Youth Huddle experience, you can call 877-626-4651, or you can email nanyouthhuddle@gmail.com. Also, brothers and sisters, today is Saturday, tomorrow's Sunday. 5 p.m. today, Saturday, 5 p.m. tomorrow, Sunday. You want to make sure that you are tuning in to MSNBC's Politics Nation. You want to tune in to MSNBC's Politics Nation today, 5 p.m., tomorrow, Sunday, 5 p.m., and that's Politics Nation on MSNBC with Al Sharpton. So you want to make sure that you are tuning in Saturday and Sunday at 5 p.m. with MSNBC's Politics Nation with Al Sharpton. But right now, brothers and sisters, it is Dr. All in White today, Alvin Ponder.
Yes, good morning. I'm in white because it's my birthday. Yes. Good morning, brothers and sisters, listeners and viewers, and thank you for tuning in to another Saturday Action Rally with the National Action Network. Here's some information to keep you in the know. Nan praises Biden for decision to convene United We Stand Summit. National Action Network, Reverend Al Sharpton, applauded President Biden's decision to convene a summit to address the growing pandemic of hate and extremism in the United States in the aftermath of the racist shooting in Buffalo, New York by a white supremacist. Reverend Sharpton called for such a summit after a gunman murdered 10 Buffalo residents shopping at a Tops friendly market on a Saturday morning in May. Reverend Sharpton said, quote, "We start by changing the tone nationally," he told the moderator Chuck Todd on Meet the Press. He went on to say that President Biden needs to call a national summit meeting of Black, Jewish, Asian leaders and sit down and talk about the growing problem of hate crimes, and that this government will not stand by and allow this to happen. The summit, scheduled to take place next month, will address the, quote, "corrosive effects of violence on public safety and democracy," according to the White House. Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said in a statement, quote, "As President Biden said in Buffalo, after the horrific mass shooting earlier this year, in the battle for the soul of our nation, we must all enlist in this great cause of America." Nan has partnered with the Anti-Defamation League, the National Urban League, and other civil rights and religious organizations to press for the summit. Nan to kick off 5 City Hall forums to register Black men across Georgia. Ahead of the midterm elections, Reverend Al Sharpton and NAN's Southeast Regional Director, Reverend Ron Salem of Atlanta, have announced a 5-city Georgia tour to encourage voter participation and education, listen, among Black males, who, according to the recent polls, are more likely to be unregistered than their counterparts. NAN is a nonpartisan organization that does not endorse political candidates. These town hall meetings will register new voters and educate individuals about civil rights legislation and issues as we move toward November 2022 elections and beyond. For more information, contact the NAN Southeast Regional Office in Atlanta at 678-732-0405. I'll repeat that, 678-732-0405. Let's not forget about police reform. With the signing of the historic bipartisan Safer Communities Act, hailed as the most significant legislation in 3 decades to reduce gun violence, Reverend Al Sharpton and the National Action Network continue to push the White House and Congress to adequately address meaningful police reform. Welcome to all of you who have tuned in and joined us also via live stream at www.nationalactionnetwork.net and also live on Facebook at National Action Network. If this is your first time joining us, and or if you're not a member of NAN, we welcome you to NAN and invite you to join us and get to the action today. For more information and to join, you may visit again www.nationalactionnetwork.net or call 877-626-4651 or just text the word NAN. Again, that number is 877-626-4651, or you can text the word NAN to 59769. Welcome.
All right, thank you, Dr. Ponder. Right now, brothers and sisters, it is you. We want to know what on your mind. That's right, we want to know what's on your mind. Katrina Jefferson, special liaison to President Sharpton, is here to ask you what's on your mind, and she wants to know. Good morning.
Good morning, Attorney Hardy, and good morning to each and every one of you who are here live with us at the House of Justice, to those that are watching by way of live streaming on our Facebook page and our website, and to those that are listening by way of WLIB 1190 AM. Welcome to another weekend's conversation of What's on Your Mind, where you, the people, you, the community, have the opportunity to interact with the National Action Network 24 hours a day by emailing us at whatsonyourmind@nationalactionnetwork.net. Again, that email address is whatsonyourmind@nationalactionnetwork.net, or you may call us at 877-626-4651. And we have a couple of things to share with you. August is Summer Sun Safety Month nationwide, and our Political Action Committee will be having its fourth Saturday of the month program here at the House of Justice. That's Saturday, August 27th at 11:30 a.m. The purpose of their meeting is to plan the voter registration and information table in front of the House of Justice and to register new voters at Rikers Island. And so please make sure if you're interested in being a part of the Political Action Committee, you attend the meeting next Saturday at 11:30 a.m. And if you're watching or listening to us and you want to get connected into the action, you can give us a call at 877-626-4651. Let's take something from our audience member. Good morning. Give us your name, let us know where you're from, and share with us what's on your mind today.
Good day, everybody, and God bless everybody. My name is Sister Reverend Word. I'm from Heaven, born in Harlem. I'm 71 years old and new, and I'm a Nan lifetime member. What's on my mind, of course, is Bible scriptures. And it was very good news to hear that Reverend Al Sharpton is going to represent Nan at the United We Stand Summit meeting. It's very important for Christians to really clarify that we are about peace and truth. There's some Christians that are totally misrepresenting what Christianity is really about. And to have the National Action Network at the table representing the Christian faith and civil rights is a beautiful thing. And I want us to really understand our obligation to represent the Christian faith, and the civil rights movement includes everybody in peace and in truth. God bless you all.
Thank you so much for sharing. Good morning. Give us your name, let us know where you're from, and share with us briefly what's on your mind.
Okay. Greetings, House of Justice. I'm Dornell Jones. I'm presently residing in the village of Harlem. I stand here just to thank everyone who signed. I stand here to thank everyone who signed our petition to bring back the BX-19 bus. Yeah. The bus has been reinstated as of last Monday. I want to thank each and every one of you who participated in our petition drive, Senator Cordell Clear, who wrote a letter, and Reverend Brenda Price, who led the effort. Peace and blessings.
Thank you so much for sharing. Good morning. Give us your name, let us know where you're from, and share with us what's on your mind.
My name is Tony Veer. I'm a new member, and I am originally from the Bronx, South Bronx, loved it. What's on my mind is having every African American person in the United States be able to outthink every other race in the city, in the state, in the country. Because I found out that if you could outthink people and they don't know you're outthinking them, you get whatever you want. And you have to like go your way. And that's my commitment, and that's all that's on my mind.
Thank you so much for sharing. We're going to close out this weekend's conversation. If any of you follow, well, you should be following Reverend Sharpton on social media just to stay in the know with what's happening, not only with him personally, but certainly with the National Action Network and our efforts worldwide. But every morning he does an inspirational message, and I'm going to share an excerpt from his message on yesterday. Real talk this morning. You are capable of doing significant things, even great things. But you have one thing that you have to deal with, your own self-worth. You don't go as far and as deep as you have the capacity to go and capacity to do, because somehow along your journey you've been convinced that you're not worthy of doing what you can do. You don't have the right pedigree. You don't have the right education. You don't know enough. You're not talented enough. You're not smart enough. You have allowed people to beat down your self-worth, your self-value, even people close to you. Some kind of way they hint at your lack of worth. Well, I'm telling you that until you get that out of your way, you will be living beneath the privilege that is yours and the blessings that are right before you in your life and journey. You are worthy. You are of value. You are qualified. Yes, you don't have what others have in background. Yes, others may be more educated and appear to be more smart, but God has given you gifts they don't have, talent they don't have, and what you didn't have has been compensated with other things they didn't have. Know that you are a unique, standalone creation of God that's worthy of doing great things. that others can't see because they did not make and put you together in the unique way that you've been put together. There is no one like you. And that concludes this weekend's conversation of what's on your mind. Keep in mind, everything you heard here were simply the thoughts and the viewpoints of the contributors and do not reflect those of the National Action Network directly. And we invite you to interact with us 24 hours a day by emailing us at whatsonyourmind@nationalactionnetwork.net. Again, that email address is whatsonyourmind@nationalactionnetwork.net, or you may call us at 877-626-4651. Back to you,
All
Tony.
right, thank you so much, Katrina Jefferson, for What's on Your Mind. We really appreciate that. Brothers and sisters, we're going to bring you in the house. What does that mean? We're taking you inside the National Action Network's House of Justice and the work of the committees that happen here all the time, working hard to make things better for all of you. And this week, we're going to go in the house with Woodley Hendry, Moon Gironde, and Devin English, members of the Disability Committee of the New York City chapter. Let's give them a welcome.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Hardy. My name is Chaplain Naomi Jones, and I chair the Disabilities Committee. And as Mr. Hardy just informed you, I have had the pleasure of working with this dynamic crew this summer, and it has been an extraordinary summer. The Disabilities Committee has been out throughout the boroughs distributing PPE and helping community-based organizations and giving out information, as well as advocating for concerns that have come in through the crisis unit. We're just very, very grateful for this opportunity to let you know about our committee and invite you to join. Part of the work we have done are because of the kindness and the hard work of many, basically young people that were just introduced. And I would like to present them now. Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. This morning, I'm doing well myself. My name is Woodley, and this morning I would like to give information about the Disability Committee. Goals, vision, and mission of our committee include advocacy, mediation, and information, concise to the protection and the Americans with Disability Act of 1990 and amendments of 2008. We use and promote trauma-informed practice and a language culturally competent and inclusive. The committee creates awareness that helps advocate the protection of in the federal legislation identified in the ADA. People living with mental or physical medical conditions that affect daily life activity are a protected class federally, statewide, and citywide. For more information, the Disability Committee Chairwoman is Chaplain Naomi Jones, the House of Justice, which is located at 106 West and 145th Street, and to contact her is 877-626-4651. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce my teammate.
Hello, my name is Devin English. I thank you all who are present here to hear me speak today about the NAN Disabilities Committee. I am a new and proud Disabilities Committee member. I am grateful to our founder, Reverend Al Sharpton, and the New York City President, Bill Griffin, for the opportunity to speak about the Disabilities Committee, as well as inviting you all to join the National Action Network. Throughout my time here at NAN, I've learned many new lessons that I will take to heart as I move on to the next stage of my life, college. I never really gave a thought about the rights that I have, nor the rights of others. My naivety has clouded me when it comes to understanding the tranquility of the lives that some people with disabilities have compared to others. Seeing how many people with disabilities come out to voice their complaints on their circumstances when it comes to their rights is disheartening. I never thought it would come to the point that someone should go so hard on something that they should have their automatic right. Oppression and belittling someone based on something out of their control is abhorrent. Being a part of the Disabilities Committee has helped me see that disability rights awareness is important. Our job as committee members is to advocate, mediate, and inform the communities on the civil rights of people with disabilities. Everybody, no matter their financial situation, race, ethnicity, religion, physical appearance, or how many different ways we affiliate ourselves nowadays, should be able to live their best lives. Through our community engagement, passion research, and our experiences on social media, I feel more comfortable of having a disability of my own. As someone who has to live with a disability, you'd think I'd be aware of my rights. But before I joined NAN, before I joined the Disabilities Committee, I constantly tried to hide my disability from others, afraid of the consequences that come from it. I already had a hard time in school, and telling others about something like that would only make my life at school worse. Now I realize lack of accommodation has long-term consequences. Even a young person with disabilities should have access to resources that would help them. I wish someone would have helped me when I was younger. I implore you to join the Disabilities Committee as we have the needs of the Disabilities community in mind, as there are caretakers and loved ones too. Whether it be at home, in the community, or celebrating alongside other organizations that share the same or similar beliefs, remember, we will act in order for you to see change for the betterment of your lives. I'd like to thank Reverend Al Sharpton for creating this organization that I've grown to love over the past 6 weeks. I'd also like to thank Chaplain Naomi Jones for teaching me all I know as a Disabilities Committee member. I'd also like to thank my fellow committee members, Moon and Woodley, for being with me while tabling and going to events, as well as teaching me many different things. Today, we will be handing out information at Harlem Week, so please stop by and take a look at what needs we have to offer. You can also contact the NAN Disabilities Committee Chaplain, Naomi Jones, by contacting her at the NAN New York City Cabinet Facebook page at www.facebook.com/nan.NewYorkCityCabinet. Being a part of NAN has been a fantastic experience for me, and I highly recommend being part of the NAN community, the NAN family. Thank you all again, and have a pleasant day.
Wow. Thank you so much. Can we give them another round of applause? I'm just so proud of them. And I hope you've heard reasons today why you should join the Disabilities Committee. There's a lot of work to be done, and we would surely, surely welcome you. Thank you, and I thank the team. I couldn't have done this summer without you. I'm truly grateful. Have a blessed week, everyone. Thank you.
All right, thank you for the Disability Committee bringing us in the house this morning. Appreciate it. Right now, brothers and sisters, it's Saturday. Our musical director, Minister Tyrone Richardson.
Jesus, you're the center of my joy. All that's good and perfect comes from you. You're the heart of my contentment. You're the hope for all I do. Jesus, you're the center of my joy. When I've lost my direction, you're the compass for my way. You're the fire and light when nights are cold and dark. Your voices of children, our families and our home. You're the choice and the finish of my highest dream. Oh Lord Jesus, you're the center of all that's good and perfect comes from you. You're the heart of my contentment. You're the hope for everything I do. Oh, Jesus, you are. You're the center. You're the center of my joy. When I'm all alone, feeling sad, God, you're the lifter. You're the lifter of my head. When I don't know where to go, when I don't know where to turn, I look to the hills from which cometh my help. It comes from Jesus, 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 Jesus. Hey, Jesus, you're the center of my joy.
Minister Tyrone Richardson, our musical director, accompanied by Chris Garland. Right now, brothers and sisters, our Nan Youth segment, the Youth Huddle, and today we're going to have Ronald McHenry, an advisor to the Nan Youth Huddle, come and present. Let's give him a welcome.
Greetings, my dear brothers in the struggle. My name is Ron McHenry. I'm a minister, I'm a teacher, and I'm an activist, I'm an artist, but more importantly, I am a member of the National Action Organization. And I come every week, every Monday, to advise and encourage the youth at the Youth Huddle. I joined NAN because it is an organization that is faith-based, and it is in the tradition of Dr. Martin Luther King. Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton always teaches that the movement is not a sprint, that is a marathon. And I thank God for the National Action Network, because here we have many coaches that are going to help you on your journey as an activist. And on the journey as an activist in the struggle, you need to join a system to fight a system. And I thank God that the National Action Network is a system that is plugged into God himself. Because you need to be plugged into God when you're facing a system that has marginalized us at every point of society. And so, I'm an artist, and I believe that I'm called to this work, but not only as an artist, my calling is to decolonize the art world, as a minister to decolonize the church world, and as a teacher to decolonize education. I truly believe that as an artist, my purpose is to create a message through my art that creates change. And I thank the National Action Network for providing a platform for artivism to happen. Today I have my show, my collection coming here called The Movement of Faith at 12:30. Please tune in if you have a chance. It is important that artivism happens. I'm going to say it again. It is important that artivism happens. Now why? Because the message needs to be differentiated. Not everyone is going to receive the movement through the pulpit. So the message needs to come through different forms, and I think the National Action Network for providing that platform. The message needs to come through music and through artivism and through everything that you have. Not all of us are meant for the pulpit, but everyone has to play their part. I want to say that again. Everybody has to play their part, and you have to use the talents that God gave you to further the message. Nina Simone says that the job of an artist is to reflect the times. I'm going to say it again. Nina Simone says the job of an artist is to reflect the times. So I choose through my gifting to reflect the times that we're in to force change to happen. Please come out at 12:30 today. We will have my exhibit called The Movement, Faith-Based Movement, and it will be featuring our very own Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton. It will be featuring Dr. King and other icons. I based my collection based off Reverend's book called Righteous Troublemakers. Right, Righteous Troublemakers, I know you all read it here. And we are, again, presenting. It's going to be here at 12:30. There will be poets, there will be singers. You can call the toll-free number for more information at 877-626-4651. I would like to thank Dr. Reverend Al Sharpton for this opportunity, the Nan Youth Huddle, our leader, Ashley Sharpton, And I would also like to just thank everyone for participating that are going to come out. You can join us at 106 West 145th Street at the corner of Lenox Ave, not only for the show at 12:30, but every Monday at 6 p.m. for our Youth Huddle segment. So let us remember what the Reverend Sharpton says. He teaches us that the race is not given to the swift. He teaches us that the battle is not given to the strong. He teaches us, but the battle and the victory is given to those that endure to the end. Right? So we must remember his words, no justice, no peace. Give it back in the hands of Attorney Hardy.
All right, Ronald McHenry, thank you so much. Nan, a Youth Huddle advisor, we appreciated that. Right now, once again, our musical director, Minister Tyrone Richardson.
Splendor of the King, glory and majesty, let all the earth rejoice, let all the earth rejoice. He wraps himself in light, darkness tries to hide, trembles at his voice, trembles at his voice. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? Oh, sing how great is our God. Oh, the splendor of the King, glory and majesty, let all the earth rejoice, let all the earth rejoice. He wraps himself in light, darkness tries to hide, trembles at his voice, trembles at his voice. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? Oh, sing how great is our God. Oh, you're the name above all names, and you're worthy of all praise. And my heart will sing how great is our God. Yes, you're the name above all names, and you're worthy of all praise. And my heart will sing how great is our God. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, Lord, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art, you're the name above all names, and you're worthy of all praise. And my heart will sing, how great is our God.
That is our musical director, Minister Tyrone Richardson, accompanied by Chris Garland. Brothers and sisters, it is our honor and privilege today to have with us for our Inspirational Word segment, the Reverend Dr. Kimberly K. Holmes. She's the Director of Training at the St. Luke's Baptist Church here in New York City. The church and its former pastor and those that are members have been close to the National Action Network, and we're happy to have her with us this morning. Let's welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let us pray. Our Father and our God, we ask that you hide me behind the cross of Calvary so that all the glory and accolades might be thine. Circumcise my mouth, O God, so that I may speak only your word. Circumcise the hearts and ears of the listeners so that they may be edified through the preaching of your gospel. In Jesus' name, Holy Spirit, have your way. Amen. 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 I give honor to God, who is the author and finisher of my faith, to Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton, the president and founder of NAN, to Dr. W. Franklin Richardson, the chairman of the board, to Pastor Steffi Bartley, to Reverend Stephen Marshall, to my dear pastor, Reverend Dr. Shane Hilliard, the pastor of the St. Luke Baptist Church, who is here with us on this morning. God bless you, Pastor. To all of St. Luke Nation, to Reverend Dr. Helen Wingate, who's been a mom, a sister, and a friend to me. God bless you, Dr. Wingate. To my beloved son, Madison, who I'm well pleased he's here. To Reverend Richardson, to my nephew, Chris, to everybody who is somebody in the body of Christ. So place your hand on your heart and say, Kim is talking about me. Our scripture for this morning comes from Psalm 62, verse 1. Only one verse, and it says, truly my soul finds rest in God. My salvation comes from him. Beloved, we all have anthems, we have mantras, we have the national anthem, we have the Black national anthem, and St. Luke, we call ourselves the St. Luke Nation, and we have a mantra that deals with giving, and it says, Abraham commenced it, Jacob continued it, Malachi commanded it, and Jesus complimented it. Who are we to cancel it? Mantras and anthems are something that we remember, something that we want to draw hold to. And so for me, you know, I'm a part of what I call the Beehive Nation. So for me, I borrow from Beyonce, and my anthem of resilience on this morning is, you won't break my soul. So tell your neighbor, you won't break my soul. So when you hear that and you're walking around, just think about, there's a spiritual me, you won't break my soul. Beloved, let's face it. Let's face facts. We're in some difficult and challenging times right now in our nation's history. Justice Alito, he said that Roe v. Wade was egregiously wrong from the start. He said that they have the right to determine what we do with our own bodies. And if that ain't the truth, if that is not the truth, to make matters worse, we have Brittany Griner, who's in Russia in prison for carrying some marijuana, some oil on the plane. She's been there for a while now, and while she's sitting there in prison, and while Justice Alito is telling us what we can do with our own bodies, the sermon title for today, You Won't Break My Soul, cries out loud and clear. And if that's not enough, to drive it home, right here, the New York Times just published a recent article, and it says a partial list of mass shootings in the United States. And it says that on July 20th, someone walked in, a gunman, and killed, open fire on people at a mall. On July 4th, Robert Cromino, he went in and killed 7 people. On June 30th, right in Newark, where I'm from, 9 people were shot, and it was all related to a stolen car. And then right here in Harlem, on June 20th, a 21-year-old basketball player was killed at a picnic area. And if these things going on in our community don't make you scream out, you won't break my soul, I urge you to lean in and listen to the message. Beloved, we just keep experiencing one disaster after another, after another, after another. But the Bible says, truly, my soul finds rest in God. My salvation comes from him. And the Message translation says it a little bit better. It says, strength comes straight from God. So tell your neighbor on this morning, my strength comes from God. I won't be before you long. I just got 2 points and I'm going to take my seat. My first point is, my soul rests in God. My soul rests in God. Just like David's soul rests in God. No matter what comes your way, you tell the enemy, my soul rests in God. Because if God be for me, who can be against me? Yea, though I walk, I'm going to walk through the valley of the shadow of death, because my soul rests in God. Like David, we must develop an undivided confidence in God. Why are we trusting in man? What can man do to us? Because man is funny. One day they feel like a nut, one day they won't. One day they'll speak speak to you and one day they won't. You can't place your trust in man. On days like today, your soul has to be anchored in God. And on this morning, my soul is anchored in God. And sometimes we're going to have good times, and sometimes we're going to have bad times. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King said, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort, but where will you stand in times of challenge and controversy? And on this morning, I am firmly convinced that we can't do nothing without God's divine promise, protection, and provision. I need God. You need God. So my soul rests in God. So you won't break my soul. Now, you might bruise my soul. You might bruise my soul, but you won't break my soul. My soul was bruised when I saw those two little black girls reaching up for that cartoon character down there in Sesame Street, and they just waved her off. Sometimes society will wave us off. They'll tell us we don't have the right answer when we do. They'll tell us what we can do with our bodies when we know what God says. But our soul rests in God. So Brittany Griner, while you're in prison, know that there's people right here in Harlem praying for you, and your soul rests in God. Justice Alito, you can't do nothing to us because God is our Supreme Court Justice, and God makes our way. And what God says, I'm the head and not the tail. God says I'm above and not beneath. God says there's no good thing he will withhold from us because we walk in God. And finally, my soul, you won't break my soul because my soul rests in God, and you won't break my soul because my salvation comes from him. You can look at me all you want. You can say she ain't supposed to be here. You can say who invited her, but my salvation comes from him. And if you tell me to be quiet, I'm going to scream all the more louder because God is the author and finisher of my faith. It's in God that I live. It's in God that I move. It's in God that I have my being. So you won't break my soul because I have an anthem of resilience. I'm going to stand flat-footed and say what thus declareth the Lord. Amen. Amen.
The Reverend Dr. Kimberly K. Holmes, Director of Training, St. Luke's Baptist Church here in New York City. Brothers and sisters, the Change Ensemble.
Sometimes
ensemble under the direction of Minister Tyrell Richardson, further accompanied by Chris Garland. Brothers and sisters, I want you to get on your feet right now. I want you to put your hands together at home. Put your hands together for the president and founder of the National Action Network, the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. What do we want? Justice. What do we want? Justice. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. 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 Fist bump the person next to you, tell them you love them. Never give up. Sometimes you get disappointments, sometimes you get setbacks, and I remember we had a particular setback, and I was very depressed and upset about it. One of the ministers told me in breadbasket that there is just not a quote, you got to learn how to live that quote. That the race isn't given to the swift. Some of y'all fast and nimble, but the race isn't given to the swift. I see folk come through here that slick and hip and all of that, but they run into a wall, they lose all that. The race isn't given to the swift, nor to the strong, but to those that can hold out. If you can hold out, your change will come.
Your change will come. Your change. Do you believe it? Your change will come. Oh, yeah.
When that old minister told me that about holding out to the end, it reminded me my mother taught me. After Daddy left and we were making it the best way we can, she said, don't worry. He may not be here when you want him, but he's always on time. Some of y'all's problem is you too impatient. Some of y'all want God when you want him. But you got to learn that God got his own timetable. And his timetable is the right time. So just hold on and wait a little while longer. Your change will come.
Your change will come. Your change. Oh, yes, it will. Your change will come. Your change.
Give them a big hand. Give them a big hand. Certainly we're happy to be with you another Saturday morning for the Saturday Action Rally. For you that are here live in the House of Justice Auditorium, 106 West 145th Street in the Village of Harlem, and you that are listening live on 1190 WLIB AM in New York, and you that are watching us on various media platforms around the world. I got a letter from Ghana. They watch us every Sunday morning, Saturday morning. We're happy to be with you. We're happy to be with you another Saturday morning to give our report on where the action is. Give a hand to our presider, Attorney Michael Hardy, our musical director. Give a hand to Minister Tyrone Richardson, and give the drummer some. Give Chris a hand. And certainly we're glad Attorney Hardy's been traveling, and he's glad to have him home with us. I know when he was not here, many wondered where he was and was checking all the senior citizens' homes, but he was traveling. He was traveling. He was not in one of the homes. He was here. He's all right. And certainly, didn't we, first of all, let me say, one of the reasons I tell you that you never know on a Saturday morning what's going to happen at the House of Justice. Last Saturday, we were blessed. I was surprised. In the middle of my message, door opened on the side, and Reverend Jesse Jackson rolled in his wheelchair. And I didn't even know Reverend Jackson was in town, but he kept telling the folk that travel and his handlers, don't call Al, I want to surprise him. And we were thrilled to have him with us. And in fact, he took Dominique down to the Sylvia's. He wanted to celebrate she was on this TV show, and they called his name. And I brought my kale salad. I don't eat that no more. And they put that in the paper, but I don't care. I want everybody to eat as healthy as they can. But I was glad to see him, and took Ashley and Dominic with him down to the Sylvia's. And then the day we got history walking in, Bishop Herbert Daughtry in the house. Give him a hand. Give him a hand. You should not take the presence of our historical figures for granted. A lot of us, if you don't have no appreciation for history, then you don't have a sense of where you are in the journey. Because you didn't get here by yourself. There's a reason they wrote the Bible, to give you a historic reference point. And if you're so smart that you're smarter than history, then you are not as smart as you think. And I don't take for granted, if it wasn't for a Jesse Jackson or a Herb Daughtry, we would not be where we are as a people today. Give Bishop Daughtry another hand. I know that Alvin Ponder's getting ready to be a year older. He got his white suit on like he's a good humor man. But he ain't as old as Reverend Daughtry. You got miles to go yet, Alvin. Got on white, on white, on white. This is a black organization now. We welcome everybody, but all this. I thought the Mr. Softy truck was getting ready to pull up. Got white shoes on too.
Thank you, sir.
Happy birthday, Albert.
Thank you.
And also, didn't our hearts burn as we had, that was a great message we had from Reverend Dr. Kimberly Holmes. Give her a hand. Come on, give Dr. Holmes. Did a great job, and I was listening to her
I was saying to Dominique, she went from Roe versus Wade and come on through. She knows how to talk at the House of Justice. Everybody can't handle social policy and religion, but she know where she at. This ain't comes speaking. You know, people talk about you sanctified, you speak in unknown tongues. Some of y'all got unknown messages. We don't know what you talking about. But she was clear and we enjoyed her. And we're honored to have with her pastors in the house, Reverend Dr. Shane Hilliard. Where's Reverend Hilliard? Stand up, Doc. Come on up here, sit up here. Y'all get a chair. But Reverend Pastor of St. Luke Baptist Church in Holland. Pastor Hilliard is the pastor of the church now of St. Luke that was pastored and founded by my great friend who was one of the original national board members of National Action Network, Reverend Johnny McCain. And I went when Pastor Hilliard first was installed there. I preached, he had me come that Sunday, and I'm glad to have him with us. He was one of the proteges of Dr. McCain, and then went on and pastored in Brooklyn, and then they called him back because they wanted him there because he was raised there and mentioned there. And he knew the ministry of St. Luke because he was a product. And see, you thought I forgot all your history, see? I ain't as old as Alvin or Hardy. I don't know. But we're glad and honored to have him. Anytime he's here, put him up here on the platform. We're honored to have him and St. Luke in the house. Talking about churches, let me say while we're on the broadcast in New York, that tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, I'll be preaching at Greater St. Stephen's United Church of God, 874 Myrtle Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. 874 Myrtle, the pastor there celebrating their birthday. Former pastor's wife's birthday, and I'll be there 11 o'clock in the morning. Then Monday night, I'll be speaking at Citadel Cathedral of Praise at 105 Barbie Street in Brownsville. And we're honoring Bishop Alexander, Bernard Alexander. When I was growing up in Washington Temple, Bernard was the cop. He was a policeman and took care of Bishop Washington, was faithful. I remember when I was 9 or 10, we went to Youth Congress. He drove some of us out there, and he became a minister all the way up to a bishop, and his son and Hezekiah Walker will be there, and all of us, Kim Burrell, and I'm speaking on Monday night at Citadel Cathedral, 105 Barbie Street in Brooklyn. So we are glad you that are listening in the New York area tomorrow at Greater St. Stephen's or on Monday night. Let me also encourage all New Yorkers that have a primary on Tuesday to vote in the primary. Do not complain later about what you want done if when you could vote and decide who's gonna do it, you didn't go vote. You know, one of the things I was dealing with a lot this week with Attorney Hardy is as we deal with these cases, I'm getting ready to meet, and I'm gonna talk about it in a minute, with some of the officials in Washington and with President Biden. And one of the things that I was glad that we had access to President Obama is we were able to get some sentences commuted. But the only reason we could get them commuted is because of the fact that we voted Obama in as president. Hello. When we go to district attorneys and make appeals, or Manhattan district attorney, all of that, is because they are elected. And you get folk that ain't never voted for nobody want you to go on your vote and get stuff done for them. Hello. Vote about it. I'm getting ready to start a whole new thing in there. When folk come want us to talk to folk, I'm asking, did y'all vote? Because I think that we must be real clear that everything takes some initiative from us. People act like this stuff just happens. Last Saturday, Reverend Daughtry started the whole memorial for Al Van, former assemblyman and councilman. Reverend Marshall and them attended for us. So they said he started the whole memorial for them at Boys and Girls High. Well, that was because the whole movement around empowerment started with Reverend Daughtry and Al Van and G2OC. A lot of y'all don't understand where that come from. There is a direct stretch, a thread from Van and the Coalition of Empowerment and Reverend Daughtry to Eric Adams being mayor. This didn't just happen. That's why I talk about history. 84. Let me give you all of you social media experts read one blog and think y'all know the whole world. Let me give y'all the history. 1984, Jesse Jackson ran president. Most of the black elected leadership did not support Reverend Jackson. I showed some of the staff a video how most black mayors came out and said he shouldn't run. Most black members of the Congressional Black Caucus said he shouldn't run. Most of the elected blacks in New York said he shouldn't run. He ran in 84. Harlem, he could not get the elected officials. So the meetings were in Brooklyn at the House of the Lord, Pentecostal Church. I remember when Jesse came, we had to go to Brooklyn. Al Van, G2OC, Roger Green was the only officials that would support Jesse. Is that the history? He ended up getting 3.5 million votes nationwide, which gave the impetus to a movement independent of those blacks that were loyal to the bosses of the Democratic Party. 85, we started a campaign here in New York around having a black schools chancellor. We wanted a guy named Thomas Minton. Out of that was a drive to get a black district attorney. C. Vernon Mason ran for Manhattan DA. Let's welcome Impact Television watchers around the country. It was that movement that in 85 we didn't make it in those campaigns. Van didn't make it for board president of Brooklyn. Mason didn't make it for DA. But in the next election in 89, we had another black candidate. At the same time that had a black candidate, a young black 16-year-old boy was killed for being in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, because they said they didn't allow blacks in the neighborhood. We went out there and started marching every Saturday and galvanized the city. Every week people was watching. They were calling us the N-word, throwing bananas. And it mobilized a lot of us to vote. And the black candidate that year for mayor was named Dave Dinkins and won between movement and history. That's how we got there. You never have seen progress unless you've seen a mixture of movement and those that know what to do. Everybody moving don't know what to do. And everybody that know what to do ain't in the movement. But when you can bring them together. Now, we've always had different tribes in Africa. Let me tell you something. We've never been just all one thing. I see these people talk about, you know, back in Africa, we wasn't that. Back in Africa, we was some everything. Y'all act like Africa was one country. Africa is a continent. We had some Christians, some Muslims, some everything. Don't act like your thing was the only thing in Africa. When I went over and started traveling in Africa, when I was over in South Africa, you had blacks running against Mandela for president. That's a fact. Don't ever forget Buthelezi and them had their own following against Mandela. Those that don't talk about it reveal they were not involved in the movement or they didn't study. I went as an election observer, 94, to the first election in South Africa. Y.T. Walker brought some of us. And Mandela had to run against the Afrikaners, the whites, and those that call themselves the African nationalists, Buthelezi. He won. But there's always been blacks that had different philosophies. Now, one of the things to do, and this is what I'm so proud of our huddle group about. I was glad to hear Ronald McHenry, who was one of the advisors, that speak so well this morning, is that he identified what is right, is that we raise and train and mentor people here in our youth in our tradition. We don't say there ain't other traditions, but in our tradition, we are a faith-based Martin Luther King kind of movement. That's who we are. I apologize for that. And been that since I was a kid. Reverend Al Sharpton tell you, when I was youth director under he and Dr. Jones of Dr. King's organization in New York, the chapter. That's the way I've been. That's why when Jesse Jackson in town, he come here unannounced. He don't go somewhere else because this is the tribe we're in. Now, it doesn't mean you got to be the same as us to come here, but know where you at. People talk, Reverend Hillary, about, well, you know, Sharpton's all right, but they talk a lot of God on Saturday morning. That's who I am. We are a church-based, faith-based, King School of Thought organization. If you want to hear something about something else, you go somewhere else. I ain't trying to be everybody's thing. Too many people adjust to everybody else. I ain't trying to be you. I do what I believe. And I think that we've got to get back to that. One of the things, the reason I'm saying that, is that if you tell the truth about our history, some of us need to deal with the challenges that we need to correct among ourselves. We are here. Our ancestors were here and brought here as a result of the African slave trade. Y'all got that? Well, what we miss, Chrissy, when we talk about the African slave trade is who was they trading with? Some of us were kidnapped. Others of us were traded and sold by other Africans. Which is why if you don't have people in movements and in leadership and in pastoring that have values and ethics and integrity, you are still dealing with slave traders today that will sell us out rather than keep us free. That's why I make it real clear that this is a moral church-based movement, because I don't get along too well with folks that believe that it's all about advancing them with no values and no ethics. Well, you know, I'm the chairman of so-and-so. But what are you doing? I'm going to be a billionaire. And do what with the money? But I want you to help. People come all the time, Reverend Al, I want you to help me. Help me to do what? I want to be big. Big to do what? I just want to be big. Well, you got it wrong. This ain't a career agency. They talk about, I go to National Action Network, I want to see if they're going to blow me up. If they ain't going to blow me up, I ain't there. Well, don't even stop by. Keep going. You need to go to William Morris, one of them talent agencies. This is a movement to correct the social injustice in the country. We are not here to blow you up. If you do the work and you serve, your service will blow you up. Your service will make you known. Your work will give you your popularity. But if you come in the door wanting to be popular, keep walking. There's a back door right over here. Same thing with preaching. There's a difference between performers and preachers. I go in some preachers study, and they got all of the layout that I see in the dressing room down at NBC when I get ready to do my show. All the makeup and all the clothes. Ain't a book in the room. I don't know why they call it a study. They ain't studying nothing. It's a makeup room. I had one preacher a few weeks ago. Can I use your Bible? He had to send out to the congregation to get a Bible. We in here studying. Well, what you in here studying? What you are grounded in and rooted in is what you will grow and be. The strength of a tree is not its branches, it's its roots. If you have weak roots, tree won't last. We're in the middle of August, toward the end now, 20th August. You go outside right now, go across the park. Nice tree with some leaves, getting ready in a month, it'll be the fall. Month after that, we head in the winter. Them leaves will be gone. But that tree will be here next August. Because of the roots that hold it up, not the leaves you look at. You are too busy being impressed with leaves rather than looking at the roots that create the leaves. That's why I respect always those that are the roots of this movement. That's why I praise Bishop George. That's why I make room and justice in town. Because we would not be here without roots. And anybody that doesn't respect the roots, you should not trust. Run around talking about that, that's old school. Don't nobody urinate on their roots but a dog. That's a hashtag, actually. So next time you hear one of these new social media microwave activists talk about old school, new school, just go bow wow. Everybody know what you're talking about. And there's continuity. There's continuity from Frederick Douglass to Booker T to WB all the way through to Dr. King into now. It's continuity. All of them preached a faith-based, transformative kind of movement. Now there were others that taught other things. That is not what Nan come out of. That's why when I open the doors for you to join, I want you to know what you joined. That's why I like so much the message she capsulized this morning, Dr. Holmes. Because if you in that kind of movement that I don't deal with other people of different races, you're in the wrong place. We welcome everybody. If you can't deal with women's right to choose, you're wrong place. You can make your choice, but you ain't got the right to put your choice on somebody else. You can't deal with LGBTQ unless they don't tell you you're in the wrong place. You are not anti-gay, by the way. You're anti-people telling they gay. Because you've been gay ever since I joined the church at 3 years old. We had gay folk. They just want you to be silently gay. Everybody knew who was gay in the church. Quit lying about that. Y'all used to say it different. Well, they're a little different. We welcome everybody. As long as you want to fight for what is right and fight for social justice, and nobody has the right to discriminate against anybody because of their choices. Now, it may not be your choice, but you don't have the right to impose your choice on nobody else. I was on Morning Joe the other morning, and I told them, first of all, we believe in a certain laws of God, but God give you the choice and tell you the consequences if you don't do that. God didn't force you. So how am I going to have a theocracy? Well, I'm going to force you to believe what I believe. Even in our religion, you can't decide. You got 50 different denominations. I'm a Pentecostal. Well, which kind of Pentecostal? You got every kind of different flavor. I'm a Baptist. You got all kind of Baptist. Are you with this convention, that convention, the other convention? It's like going to Baskin and Robbins. What flavor are you? But what do you believe in? What do you stand for? Jesus didn't found a corporation. So don't act like Jesus anointed one corporation. But all of them, if it is what helps you understand better, then that's where you ought to be. Now, we are in, I'm saying all that to say this, we are in very serious times. I don't know that we understand the nature of how serious this is. Anytime you are in a nation where the former president of the United States would take top secret documents and bring them down to his residence and refuse to give them up, to where the FBI has got to go and raid his house. At the same time, he is questioning votes that even Republicans, heads of secretaries of state, has said there was no fraud. You are dealing with a showdown on whether this country is going to have an autocracy or democracy. If Trump and his folk, and he's running them all over the country, if they are successful, you will never have a free and fair election again. Because it will then go based on, they will decide who won. They already set it up. They're saying if we can have the secretaries of state, we'll recall every election. If people don't vote this year, you will be in the hands of secretaries of states and others that will decide, the electors, and they will decide who's in charge. That's why the guy asked me the other day, and I'm going to deal with it on my show tonight. I got a couple of congressmen on 6 at 5 o'clock Eastern time, MSNBC, every Saturday and Sunday. The guy asked me, he said, well, how will we look as a country if we prosecute a president? I said, well, let me ask you the reverse. With all of this out, how will we look if we don't prosecute? I mean, it ain't like they hid what they did now. You got the man on tape saying, I need 11,000 votes in Georgia. On tape. You got the FBI, headed by the FBI director he appointed. This wasn't Biden's FBI guy, this was his guy, having to raid his house. How do you think that looked to the world? And after all that, you act like it didn't mean nothing. Bubba take a pack of cigarettes and you put him in jail. These people trying to steal an election brought people to Washington that stormed the Capitol, threatened the life of the president, the vice president rather, and the Speaker of the House. Beat up policemen. These are the ones that are the law and order folk. Talk about Blue Lives Matter. You beat blue lives on the step of the nation's capital. And if nobody is held accountable, how do you think the world will ever respect this country again? You had a precarious place. We never been here before, where you have an open autocrat saying the rules don't apply to me. Running folk that will undermine this. And in the bottom of this has been those of us that had to fight to even be part of the process, which is why we've got to be more careful than anybody. Because if we were at the bottom in those that claim to have a democracy, imagine where we are with an autocracy. This week, when they passed this Inflation Reduction Act, people calling me on my radio show, well, what they got to do with black folks? First of all, we are the ones that suffer the most from what is going on in the environment. Where do you think they put the toxic waste dumps? Why do you think young black children are 3 times more likely to have asthma than white children? That's not genetic. That's because we breathe the worst air. When Biden and them got that through, it helps us. I want to see more. And I'm questioning when they talk about we're going to bring more police in to deal with crime. But are we going to have rules that these police are accountable for? I'm going to keep on biting about that. But don't act like this stuff that didn't pass we didn't need. Black folk need it more than anybody. We look at health care, and they put a cap on how much they can raise the price of prescription drugs. We're the ones disproportionately on low income and fixed income. When they deal with insulin, now as a cap, that's what this bill did. We are the ones that are disproportionately diabetic. But some of us, unless they put black on it, don't think it means nothing for black folks. Prescription drug, black folks. Climate, black folks. Environment, black folks. Come on, I didn't see the black agenda. It's in there. I told y'all a few weeks ago, I had a friend, Bishop Daughtry, gave up pork. Said, I don't eat pork no more. I said, all right. We was teenagers in Tilton High School. We went one day after school. There was a local little luncheonette. We went in there, and I ordered me a sandwich, cheese, one of them cheese sandwiches.
Grilled cheese.
Grilled cheese. I don't eat them no more. You do. That's why I remember the name. I ordered me a grilled cheese sandwich. He ordered him a ham sandwich. I said, what you having? He said, a ham sandwich. Mayonnaise, lettuce, and tomato. I said, I thought you quit eating pork. No. He thought pork was only pork chops or pork loin if you call it pork. He never knew ham was pork. Some of y'all didn't know climate change is black. Insulin is black. That's why we have Saturday morning rally, so y'all understand some of this means something to us. And that is why the midterm elections are so important. Let me tell you something. When we got the Emancipation Proclamation, let me go to that route a minute. Lincoln had to free the slaves in the slave states, join the Union Army, and it was those black troops that won the Civil War. They were losing. We backed up Robert E. Lee, Sherman, all of them. They started what was called an era of Reconstruction. Is that right? Now, the reason that you had Reconstruction is because you had destruction. The problem is, Lincoln and them said, is you can't just free people that for 276 years been in slavery, couldn't read and write by law, couldn't marry by law, couldn't own land by law, couldn't have property and no economic backing by law. You can't just throw them out without repairing the damage you did. We were free, but we had no repair. Reconstruction was to repair what they had robbed from us. That's where 40 acres and a mule and all that came. And blacks started voting and electing folk into the state legislature and even in the U.S. Senate to work as part of the repairing the damage done to us. They got all the way until the wrong presidents got in and the wrong Supreme Court got in, who stopped all of that. And we went from that decision the Tilden-Hayes Compromise, where they removed Tilden-Hayes Compromise. I told y'all a few weeks ago. Tilden-Hayes Compromise. I went to Tilden High School. I didn't understand how treacherous Tilden was. I'd have been marching to change the name of the school if I knew. Tilden and Hayes ran for president. Tilden had slightly more votes. They made a compromise that we will let Hayes win if you take the troops out of the South. Why take the troops out of the South? Because we freed the slaves, but if the troops are not there, they will re-enslave them. That's where Juneteenth came from. Is until the troops went in 2 years later and told them they were free and enforced it. Wasn't like they just went, a lot of y'all drinking Kool-Aid and eating ribs on Juneteenth, acting like, oh, the slaves finally found out they was free. It was enforced. They didn't come and say you free and they just walk off the plantation. If they wasn't standing there with them bayonets, they'd have still had to stay there. Why? Because the voting put people there that had the power to do it. You run around talking about you don't believe in voting. Voting is what made the change. Voting was the difference between an Andrew Johnson and an Andrew Jackson and an Abe Lincoln. That's why Frederick Douglass and all of them dealt with repair, reconstruction. When all the way, when they took back over, they started then Jim Crow, where they instituted segregation laws. Blacks were inferior, where they already had sold that during slavery. So blacks were inferior. By 1900, segregation, Jim Crow, couldn't go where whites went, couldn't go eat in restaurants, couldn't stay in hotels, couldn't do where whites, couldn't even use the toilet. And they went all the way to 1954, where the first legal decision that questioned that was Brown versus Board of Education, where it questioned separate but equal. And from 54 into 64, 10 years before we had the Civil Rights Act against public accommodation. That's why I keep telling you, that these little microwave activists talk about you went to 3 rallies and ain't nothing changed. It takes decades for institutional change. That's why you got to hold on and be committed through it all. And you don't know when the breakthrough gonna come. Reverend Daughtry and others marching the 70s out there. When Howard Beach happened and we jumped out there and it got big, any of them incidents could have been that big. Just like George Floyd. George Floyd wasn't the first time that happened, but it caught fire. If you are in the movement, you don't know when God's gonna blow something up. You just do what you're supposed to do. I was 11, 12 years old, giving out voter registration stuff in Brooklyn. First time Reverend Daughtry saw me. I had no idea I was gonna grow up and do what I'm doing now, but I followed my calling. And if you do what God, I'm talking to somebody, if you do what God called for you to do, God got more for you than you could ever plan yourself. I could not have planned to be doing what I do today. It didn't even exist. Wasn't no MSNBC when I was 11 years old. Wasn't no dream that we'd have a black president and a black mayor. But God knows your tomorrow better than you could ever guess. If you do what you're supposed to do today, God will elevate you tomorrow. So we're at a precarious point where they're trying to go back from democracy to autocracy, and in that they will end everything that black folks have gained. They will reverse affirmative action. They got 2 affirmative action cases right now pending in the Supreme Court. They will reverse a lot of these programs that give us some capital in terms of investment dollars. They reverse all that because they understand that you can be free, but if there's no repair, you can't catch up. That's where reparations come from. Y'all run the slogan and don't know what it means. Reparations is to repair the damage you did. Pay for what you did. Easy for somebody to say, yeah, I exploited, used y'all 400 years, I'm sorry, see you. No. You got to repair it. How did a lawyer tell you, some case you go to court, they will sentence you to jail and you got to reimburse what you did. You robbed something, you got to pay and do the time. We are in a time where they want to stop repairing what they did to black folks. Amen. Why don't y'all lift yourself up by your bootstrap? Because we didn't have boots by law. So we had no bootstraps to lift ourselves by. How you gonna tell folk that you forced them to be barefoot to lift themselves up by their bootstraps? Wasn't that our fathers and grandfathers and grandmothers were stupid? You made it by law. I was going to school, got into junior high school, and would come home with algebra and geometry and foreign languages. And my mother would make me do the homework that she didn't understand. Wasn't it my mother was ignorant? My mother grew up in Alabama and wasn't allowed to go to those schools. And I was able to learn what she was not able to be taught. And on top of her being oppressed and denied, you're going to go out there and talk about this ain't mama's movement? You're a disgrace and ungrateful. Your mama went through what they forced her to go through. I'm not like the strong enough to be like that. You couldn't have went through what they went through. They took it all and stayed strong enough to produce you. Telling one of my friends the other day, hip hop artist, Reverend Al, I saw the documentary they want to come out on you. He went through a lot. He said, the only thing I ever disagreed with you is you get on us the lyrics about the N-word and all. I said, well, I'm going to stay on that. You keep disagreeing with me. Because I don't believe that we ought to make it trendy to degrade ourselves. I understand it sells. I understand that people like it. But there's something about 5, 6, 10-year-old kids getting used to calling themselves a nigger and calling their mama a hoe and a bee. There's something unethical about that. You're putting a psyche, you're putting a mindset that they expect to be nothing. And here it is personal with me. Because I rode around. I was blessed to have a father-son relationship with James Brown. I rode around. James Brown used to tell me there were times in his early years that he played in venues that they couldn't get dressed in the venue. They wouldn't allow blacks in the dressing room. They had to get dressed in the tour bus and run through the back and get to the stage. And for them to go through those segregated venues and break through to where now you can perform anywhere in the world. And after the James Browns and the Sam Cookes and the Nat King Coles and the Ella Fitzgeralds took that to make a way for you. And you get on stages that they couldn't get on and call your mama a hoe and call your people a nigger, there's something wrong with you. But that's just the way we talk. All right. How come you don't talk about other folk like that? You don't call no other group out their name. You don't call your manager's race out its name. You don't call your lawyer's race out its name. You don't call your accountant's name. You know you can beat your folks down. That's why, again, I started the day with the tribe that we are. You got to have values. You got to stand for something. God said to me about 6 months ago, one of these, super duper, call themselves revolutionaries. Then they never joined the revolution. Said, Reverend Al, I ain't into all that nonviolent stuff y'all do. I got it. And I got it. He said, and let me tell you, you always got 1 or 2 guys traveling with your security. He said, what they did to protect you from people like me? I said, no. They're there to protect you from me. Because you say the wrong thing, I may forget who I am. So they there to hold me up off you. They there to help you out, not to help me out. Because I get flashbacks to Brownsville sometimes. And Chris got to say, come on, get a flashback, hold it. I believe in King nonviolence, but ain't no punk up here now. Let me say this, I'll let you go. because I wanted to be clear on who we are, what we are, and where we are. But let me say this to my church crowd, a lot of folk watching us on Impact and listening to LIB. It is not outside of religion to be involved in social justice. And to fight the powers that be. There is this misconception that if you get involved in social justice or civil rights, that's outside the church. That is not true. I remember when I started getting involved in activism, 11 and 12, a lot of folks said, oh, he's gonna backslide. He's in the world.
Yeah.
Bishop Daughtry used to have to deal with the critiques. I remember when I was a little boy, he was on WWRL every Sunday morning, and he'd have to deal with the critiques of others that said we don't need that in the pulpit. Let me tell you something. That is not biblical. I remember I started going to Hilliard to some people's church. Reverend Al, we're glad to have you, but we don't want no politics in here now. Just preach the word. And I said, well, what word you got? Tell me what Bible y'all use here. Bible I use, second book was the Exodus of slaves. That's a social justice movement. I mean, how y'all gonna preach Moses and not preach liberation? That's what Exodus means. He marched slaves out of bondage. God opened up the Red Sea. He didn't open up the Red Sea for them to get their shout on. He opened it up for them to be free. Not just say you too scared to stand up and let God use you. That you got a limited kind of expression. But don't act like I'm out the book. You ain't in the whole book. If God can use Moses and Joshua to free some slaves, God can use Daughtry and Sharpton to fight police brutality. Don't limit God because you too scared. Don't try to, this adjustable gospel. You adjust it to your personality. Now, don't mean we all do the same thing. I don't expect every preacher to do what we do. But don't condemn with me doing it. I don't condemn you. I believe faith here. I believe in all that. That's your gift. My gift is doing what I do. Some of you can go in cities and turn them upside down, heal folk, make them prosper. Great. I go in cities and turn them upside down and make folk that been racist go to jail. That's what I do. Both of us got a calling. God didn't call us all to do the same thing. But don't condemn me and act like what you're doing is righteous and what I'm doing is outside the church. And that's what a lot of us miss. Some folk, even in the movement, some folk are builders. I look around Harlem, Bed-Stuy, Southside Chicago, West Side, LA. Some folk are building so we can own and operate in our communities. The absence of that is you get gentrified. And other folks come in and take the same land you own and build their empires right in front of your face. Because you've not organized enough to protect the land you own. And until we develop an economic base, as my message last week, we will never repair where we were. Don Jones had a huge housing forum here a couple of weeks ago. We have got to stop fighting each other and take charge and ownership of the land we own. Talk about you can't come on my turf. You ain't got a turf if you paying rent. This is my corner. Well then why did that guy just go through and collect the rent everybody in the house? You ain't got a corner. You got a rent. That's why I'm telling our churches that you must tell the whole story. That God is able to change society through us. Just like he can change your personal behavior with salvation. Chris, I was telling a guy the other day, heard him preach, and I was just happened to be in the building. So I didn't go downstairs, nobody knew I was there. When he came upstairs, he said, Reverend Al Sharpton. I said, how you doing, sir? He says, yeah, I watch your TV, da-da-da-da. He said, but I'm not into all that. And I said, well, let me ask you something. I said, I heard you because I was here meeting with so-and-so, I won't call the name, and I just happened in the building, I heard you doing, they was having revival. I said, I heard you talking about Paul and Silas. And you preached a pretty good mess about Paul and Silas singing at midnight in jail. I said, but you started halfway through the story of Paul and Silas. He said, what you mean? I said, well, take out the book, 16th chapter. Actually, Paul and Silas, why did they go to jail? All y'all in here done talked about Paul and Silas. I bet you ain't 10 folk in here know why they went to jail. Paul and Silas was coming through town. And there was, according to the book, same book y'all hit me over the head with, there was what their book called a slave girl. Am I right? That had been possessed with something. And she could prophesy. And her prophecies made her slave masters rich. Is that in the book? And what she would say, they would use the predictions to make money. The Bible said she was a slave girl. Paul and them, she was following them around, saying all kind of stuff. And Paul stopped and rebuked what was in her. And that evil spirit came out of her. And by that spirit coming out of her, she could no longer predict what was making her master slaves. And they prosecuted Paul and Silas, saying, these are Jews, and we are Gentiles. And they have interrupted our economic interests. And they took them down to the town square and prosecuted them. Why? For liberating a slave girl. That's what we do. Is we deal with folk that have built billion-dollar businesses and won't pay the wages. And we go and tell them no justice, no peace, you need to be paid. We're taking wicked spirits and prophets out of slave masters. And that's why we like Paul and Silas. You run around playing church, we're having church. That's why when they locked them up, when you go to jail for a cause, I did 3 months once for protesting the Navy bombers in Vieques. I did 45 days for damn outrage. I know about going to jail. If you go to jail, though, for a good cause, if you go to jail for what is right, if you go to jail for standing up for righteousness, the jail becomes your prison. And you can sing like Paul and Silas sang at midnight. Other prisoners want to know what they were so happy about, because they understood that God would make a way because they did what was right. It's an interesting thing that the Bible said, I'll let you go for real. They were singing at midnight, because midnight is the end of one day and the beginning of another. And sometimes you got to be strong enough to write on the edge of your bad day ending and your good day coming to sing through your misery. I've been through good days and bad days, but I learned if I sing at midnight, if I have joy at midnight, if I hold on at the darkest part of midnight, if I hold and keep my faith in the dark hours of midnight, that joy will come in the morning. Sunrise follows midnight. I'm going to keep on singing the Lord's song even in the midnight hours, because soon he's going to back up this darkness and the sun will rise and shine again. That's why I'm going to sing beams of heaven as I go through this wilderness below. I'm going to sing at midnight. You might be at a midnight hour, sing anyhow. You may be facing something in your life, sing anyhow. You may be facing trials and tribulations, sing anyhow. Don't you lose your song. Don't you lose your joy. If you do what God gave you, God will, God shall, God must make a way out of no way. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. Yes, he will.
Beams of heaven as I go through the wilderness below. Guide my feet in peaceful way. Turn my midnight into day. When in the darkness I would grow, faith always sees a star of hope, and soon from all life's griefs and danger I shall be free someday. I do not know just how long it will be, or what the future holds for me, but this I know if Jesus leads me, I shall get home. I shall get home. Good God Almighty, good God Almighty. I shall get home someday.
Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Sing it like you mean it. Sing it like you mean it. someone here today, you may be in the auditorium and never joined National Action Network. All you have to do is come down and sign up right now. Come right down to me and become a member of this justice-seeking family. You may be listening on radio or watching on Impact TV. You can go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net or call us at 1-877-626-4651. 1-877-626-4651. There's someone at the phone that'll sign you up on the phone. But if you're here in the auditorium and not a member of National Action Network, think about it right now. Come right to me and let us sign you up as we have this period of expanding our movement. Come on, everybody singing. Come on. Everybody sing. Everybody singing. Everybody singing. Singing for justice. Singing for freedom. One last time, Lord. One last time, Lord. One last time. Yeah. All right. I'm going to raise our offering and let you go. We tell everybody we let them go at 11. I'm right at 11 now. You that are listening on air, you can contribute right over on the webpage. Just go to nationalactionnetwork.net and you can give right online. And I see a couple people joined online. And sometimes it amazes me the numbers of people, Reverend Hilliard, that get in this online thing. Our chairman, Reverend Richardson, said he had more people online now than come to church because they got into it with COVID. And I go back after rallies and you have thousands that watch us live on Facebook, on Instagram, not even Impact, rather than the folk that are here. That's why I appreciate folks that come, because you get up early in the morning, come want to be here. There's a difference in being here and feeling it than being in the airways. But people should tune in and be involved. So I want you that are not here that can give right online at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Let us come and raise our offering here as people here in the House of Justice will give. I see the phones hopping, and I'm glad about that. Let me encourage everybody to give to the best of your ability. I need everybody to give. Let's start. Let me give about 10 people, about 10 that can give $100 or more to come quickly. Guardians, $100. Anonymous, $100. Bishop Herbert Daughtry, $100. The Welcome Committee, $100. Brother John, one of our faithful long-term members, $100.
Got something for you.
Minister Winston Gilchrist, $200. I asked for one, Winston gave me two. Attorney Schmelkum, $100. My man from St. Luke, Deacon Sands. Deacon Sands is here every week, Reverend Hilliard. Every week. We share that, Deacon. Louis Papas. How much? $250. I thought that's what you said. Louis Papas, thank you. He gives every week, but $250. All right, Reverend Hilliard, $100. Give him a hand. All right, I got more than my 10. Now bring me 50s, 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 50s. Brother David, you know Brother David always has matching shorts and shirt. I got to go shopping with David. I can't find that stuff he got. Don Jones, $50. He always matching. David must be a tailor or something. Minister Carolyn, $50. 50s, 50s, 50s. 20s, 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 20s. Now everybody, whatever you have, $1, $5, whatever you have, thank you. Brother Reverend Al Sharpton, everybody. I was Hardy, I was looking over there. I don't have a problem with Richardson. Richardson got on his bling bling watch and his bling bling chain. Don't go no more than that now. They sticking up churches. I don't have to do my thing up here. As far as you go, Chris, don't let them blink more than that. They run up in these bling churches. There ain't no place to be blinging no more. I'm gonna de-bling Tyrone. All right, let us all stand. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Repeat after me, we're an African people, robbed of our name, our language, our family.